Alright, what's going on, guys? Tower of God, episode 11 review. Let's get right into it. Did you like the new intro? I worked really hard on it. I think it looks great. But anyway, let's get serious. Let's get into the review. So it looks like the administrator for the next test has approved Bam's request, so he can do the next test now. And it looks like Surin has set up quite an interesting little challenge here. It looks like Bam and Rachel are going to act as fish. Now, they're going to be in this little bubble under the water, under this little lake, and these net dolphins are going to basically feed them to the queen. So the whole point of the challenge is that these net dolphins only eat once a day. They spread out their net and they catch various fish. Now, Bam and Rachel will be one of the fish that they're going to catch, and then they scoop up the fish and they go into this little chamber, if you will, and the queen eats them and then they get deposited into the land. So if they get deposited into the land, they pass the challenge. Now, the whole catch is that they got to make sure that they go up to the queen and that the net dolphins perform their job. However, the net dolphins are the prey of various other monsters, two of which are barnacle goblins and giant worms. So these things are just absolute monsters, and it's the job of Coon and the rest of the contestants to basically keep them at bay long enough for the net fish to get Bam and Rachel to the queen. Now, there is also one other creature that looks like he's quite powerful. He's called the Bull, and apparently he eats anything in sight. He's kind of like the monster version of Joey Chestnut. Is that the competitive eater? I want to say it is. There used to be a Kobayashi guy too. I remember he could shove a bunch of wieners in his mouth and just keep them all down. Anyway, there's this huge bull. He's going around. He looks quite powerful, and he's sort of the main guy they got to keep at bay. So they're sort of spreading out their forces. And eventually the guy in the purple jogging suit runs into the bull. Now, he's trying to distract him. He's trying to keep him away from Bam and Rachel. Of course, he's a weakling. The bull doesn't really take him too seriously. Even when he's attacking, he doesn't even really care that much. But he's going to take him down nonetheless if he's bothering him. But then right there, Dorsey and Anak show up, and it looks like they're ready to battle. Now, of course, they don't really like each other too much, so they make it a competition amongst each other. They're going to take turns trying to defeat the bull. So they're going to get 5 minutes each, and if Dorsey wins, she gets the green April from Anak, but if Anak wins, she gets Dorsey as a servant. So both are relatively happy with this prospect. So Dorsey's taking her turn. It looks like she's inflicting some damage at first, but the tide does turn. But before we get to that, we should mention that the goblins and the worms, it looks like they're en route to disrupt these dolphins. But, Coon, Rock, and the others are trying to determine what they should do. They're sort of developing a plan, but they're still kind of sitting in limbo right now. They don't really know how to sort of handle the situation. It looks like those goblins and worms are quite imposing. And they're in large numbers as well, so they can't just go into this battle thinking they're going to go all Braveheart, They really need to develop a plan here. Back over to Dorsey, she eventually starts to struggle with the bull. It looks like the bull was just kind of toying with her at first, but now he's revealing more of his power, and he wraps her up so she can't really move. She's starting to suffocate from the looks of it, and then we transition over to Anak. Now, Anak talks to Ren, the little popcorn-looking dude, and Ren reveals some interesting information here. He opens up his mouth and his gigantic tongue sticks out. But what's very interesting about this is that it looks like Anak's mother's bracelet, or should I say necklace, is on his tongue, insinuating that Ren is the one that killed Anak's mother. And, he's calling Anak illegitimate and a worthless half-breed, and that she needs to go away, and that she shouldn't be using the Green April. So he takes her down quite quickly, and he takes the Green April away from her. But then what's interesting is that Dorsey comes back to the scene via the bull, and, Ren's like, we got to get rid of this vile half-breed. So now he drops down Dorsey right next to the Green April, and he's giving her a choice. That, she can go on living and continue climbing the tower, but all she has to do is eliminate Anak. Which might seem like a dream come true for Dorsey, because her and Anak haven't quite seen eye to eye, and they've even talked about eliminating each other. And we know from Dorsey's past that she's not adverse to killing people, so this might be the perfect opportunity for her. But I think that over the course of the challenges and in the cafeteria and just being around each other, that Dorsey and Anak, even though they sort of have this contentious relationship, I feel like they still kind of admire and respect each other in a way. And I feel like Dorsey won't kill Anak. Now, if she does happen to turn on Ren, it'll be interesting to see if Dorsey and Anak are strong enough to defeat Ren on their own. Because Ren seems like a very powerful ranker, so I don't think he's gonna go down so easily. And it doesn't seem like the other team members like Rock and Coon and the other people are really going to be able to help the two out, because I think they're going to have their hands full with the goblins and the worms. So a lot's going on right now, guys. We basically have 3 different main scenarios that we have to look out for. Bam and Rachel inside the bubble under the lake. Coon and Rock are trying to defeat the worms and the goblins. Maybe they should call the Goblin Slayer. He would absolutely love this mission. And then you got Dorsey and Anak trying to defeat Ren. A lot of interesting stuff going on. And I feel like this will probably be the final quote-unquote arc before we end the season. So I feel like a lot of action-packed battles are coming our way. And I feel like there's going to be some betrayal involved somewhere. Possibly Dorsey killing Anak, possibly one of the other team members betraying either Coon or Rock, or maybe even something with Bam and Rachel. Again, I don't trust Rachel. Every time Bam has this jubilated face when he talks to her, and he expresses so much happiness in climbing the tower with her, she always just sort of seems ambivalent. She doesn't seem to share in Bam's feelings whatsoever. No sort of empathy. I feel like she's putting on a front, if you will. And it's going to be unfortunate for Bam if something does happen, because he's so attached to her that I feel like this is going to absolutely crush him. And leave him with a psychological dilemma that won't be solved so easily. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on, and we just got to keep watching, because I feel like it's going to get more intricate from here on out. But yeah, I think that's all I got to say on this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.